Good morning and welcome to the Daily Huddle. You're probably sitting someplace very cozy, having a cup of coffee, and it's 50 years from now, and you're listening to this episode. And this episode is just for you because if you are a business owner, if you are in a relationship, if you are the leader, the CEO of a company, you're very likely concerned about the performance of your organization. And today's conversation is anchored in this context. Why do companies, why do initiatives fail? What's the number one reason? And we say, it may not be what you think. And today's conversation is being created with us by Paul Zohav. Paul has given his life and his heart to the space of what it takes to have human behavior be in a space where organizations thrive, relationships and communication work. And Paul is generous enough to be in Arizona, up at the crack of dawn, just to be here with us. Paul, I'm so excited that you're here. Can't wait to get into this conversation with you. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoy this opportunity to meet all of you.
Well, and we're enjoying the opportunity to be in conversation with you. Myself and Giovanni Gonzalez are fond of saying this. Companies are a system of relationships, and those relationships are governed by a web of conversations. And you traffic in that world a lot. I'll begin with this question. What is it about employees in a company that ensures that a company thrives in the long run? What do you say about that?
It's essential that your employees see coming to your enterprise as an opportunity rather than an obligation. There's an amazing shift when you go from a life given by obligations and circumstances to a life given by opportunity. And it's easier maybe to look at it in the following way. When we listen to ourselves and to our environments, we'll hear, I have to, I need to, I should, and I must. I've got to. I've got to get up. I need to go shopping. I have to go to work. I need to get up, get dressed, shaved, shower, go to work. These are very common. And if we listen a little bit closer, we'll hear an or else. I have to, or else. I need to, or else. I should, or else. We need to, or else. The Republicans need to. Democrats have to. As a nation, we should. There's a flavor to the language that, well, we live a life of, we react to circumstances. I have to go to work. I need to go shopping. And that's a life where you're not free. Literally not free.
Yeah.
Because everything you do is because you have to, need to, should, ought to, and must.
And the or else that people don't even often mouth and say, it's really present. And it is the or else that they're surviving that actually is running them. What flavor, even though it's unspoken, what are some of the or else's that are there that when we say out loud, people get to hear themselves?
Well, it's easier to imagine the magic that happens when you swap an O for an E, from a got to life to a get to life. In that vowel swap, you enter a whole new realm of where you are at choice. You have possibility, you have opportunity. You can change your mind just because you want to, because there's nowhere else there. This is a life of freedom, creativity. So we as entrepreneurs want our employees and staff to live a life of, you come to work for my company because it's an opportunity for me in my life, something that's important for me. I feel fulfilled as coming to work for your enterprise?
Mm. It's as fluidly as that flows out of your mouth, it may sound like it's easy for a business owner or it's easy for a corporate CEO to get their employees to shift from the world of the O to the world of the E, where it's an
Exactly.
opportunity. So what do you say leaders often miss that leaves their employees in the world of obligation versus the world of opportunity?
Well, the second piece I would look at is acknowledgement, appreciation. When you appreciate someone, they feel good about themselves. They feel good about you for noticing and saying it. In the corporate environment, let's say you have a staff meeting, the agenda is on what the agenda is, and one of your employees comes up with a wonderful idea, completely tangential, not to the agenda, but they were inspired to say something that doesn't quite fit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the leader, what do? You say, hang on a second. I like the way you think. I begin to see what you're looking at. Thank you for bringing it up. And let's do this. Let's put it at the end of the agenda. And if we don't get to it, I will sit down with you personally, one-on-one, and we'll talk. So the leader of the staff leader has reclaimed control of the staff agenda. They have acknowledged and appreciated the qualities and the thought of the employee who came up with the non-congruent idea. And the employee feels honored and respected. They also know when they'll be heard, and they have a future which they are appreciated. And the agenda returns to the agenda. So this is a leadership skill. When you appreciate someone, they feel good about themselves. They feel good about you for noticing it. This goes, by the way, in marriage and with teenagers. It's the same skill. Um, so you want to install.
Hmm. I think Paul's internet just got a little slow. Paul, are you there?
I think Paul froze for us.
Yeah,
I
so
think
he'll come back to you. Hey, there you are, Paul. You were frozen for a little bit there.
What was the last thing you heard?
it's also for teenagers and marriages, you were
Right.
saying. It applies the same.
Well, basically stopping, noticing, acknowledging. And basically one of the first things I install when I work with couples is thank you and you're welcome. It seems simple, doesn't it? But when you and I, all three of us, four of us, grow up, we used to hear you're welcome routinely. Thank you. You're welcome. If we didn't say you're welcome, our parents let us know. And there's a special quality when you say you're welcome because a connection, a pleasurable connection, is established in that moment. When you say no prob, I'm good, no worries, think nothing of it, no big deal, maybe a shrug or total silence, there's no connection. The moment you say you're welcome, life starts to bubble up. You get smiles and you get giggles. You can actually watch it vividly when you watch the faces of the people. So, in the very first session, and I'd say in working in the world of corporate, we want to find every opportunity to appreciate the people that come to work for us, because then they'll come for the appreciation, for the positive reinforcement of that. So we get to remember that word, we get to look for opportunities to employ our employees, to appreciate our employees. So we have
So,
get to, and we have appreciation. Um, and the next step is to start our sentences with yes. Um,
Paul, if I'm hearing you correctly,
mhm.
is it the language that leaders use that create the environment where it's an opportunity as opposed to an obligation? So,
Yes.
so
Um,
in that sense, any organization, you're saying any organization under any circumstances, whether the organization is currently failing or the organization is thriving, you come in and you install thank you, you're welcome, appreciation and acknowledgement. You install the mentality of it's not an obligation, it's an opportunity. and the organization begins to turn around, the culture begins to transform just because the leaders are deliberately shifting the language. Is
They
that what?
get to. They get to. You know,
So, Gio, right where we're standing there, what's percolating where you are? I'm asking that because Paul's frozen again, but I think we can continue the conversation.
Yeah,
Paul,
Paul, you froze again, but I
yes.
wanted to I wanted to I wanted to add to the conversation that what I was getting, and there's this big world that's opening up here for me, and I don't want the tone, the serious tone that you and I are driving in this conversation that will, for me, it will diminish something very powerful. And that is the shift between the world of get to and the world of I've got to, and the world of get to, and it's such a big world to open up, right? And I think for me at least, I traffic in the world of I have to, right? And I'm trafficking in the world of I have to everywhere in my life. I have to do this for my child. I have to do this for work. I have to do this for my
It's
community.
exhausting. It's exhausting.
I have to do this for my partner. I have to. I live in the world of have to, and it is exhausting,
Mhm.
Paul. And what I am seeing is I'm seeing this transition that you're pointing to is humongous to live my life in the world of I get to. And I am it's it's so everywhere.
It
It's
is.
so invasive. It's so everywhere where I live my life in the context of a have to.
It's
Now, you're saying,
exhausting even
wait, Paul,
hearing you. It's exhausting
wait,
even hear you say that.
wait, Paul, wait. See, I have to interrupt you, you see.
You get to.
Wait, Paul, wait. Because I'm confronted in this conversation. I'm almost upset. Because I'm thinking, how in the world, it's more of have to in where I am right now.
Mm.
How in the world am I going to get to shift the entire paradigm of my life from got to get to?
Well, right here,
I
right now.
just don't. I don't have the neural patterns created in my life. I
Mm.
don't have relationships creating from a world of get to. I don't. None of it. It's what I'm present right now. Now, having said that, I have a pretty cool life, and I meditate in the mornings, and I eat chicken wings, and my body can take it. But I'm seeing something really big to discover and to play with and to open up in this transition that you're pointing to from I have to I get to. And also it applies at work. I get to interact with my coworkers. I don't have to. Anyways, I get to do this project,
Mm.
not I have to do this project. Yeah. So I love this conversation. Sorry, I got passionate because I got sort of confronted over here and I don't know what happened. Yeah.
oh, Gio, it's perfect what happened, right? Because, a lot of us get confronted differently. And if I hear you, we respond differently when we get confronted. Uh, when I hear you, though, I think there's something to mine in this conversation, Paul. Gio, are you pointing to, yeah, I'm the leader and I acknowledge people. I say thank you. They say you're welcome. They say thank you. I say I'm welcome. And I create an environment where I say it and I demonstrate it. It's an opportunity leader. You don't have to. And yet, what I hear you saying, Giovanni, is that there is a demand now being placed on the employees of the organization to do the work that they need to do personally to go from obligation to opportunity. So an individual transformation you're talking about. And if I hear you correctly, you're saying, well, how do I individually make that shift? Is that what you're asking?
And so for me, and then I'll let you chip in, Paul. For me, Sorel, it's maybe a little bit deeper than that. What I'm saying is that Giovanni over here, like I'm not outside of myself, Sorel. I'm not having this conversation to me give an epiphany to somebody who's listening, and maybe they have a team of 10 or a team of 5. No, I'm seeing it for myself. I don't think I have been truly mindful in my life how much of my life is about a have to.
Survival. It's survive. You survive your life in a have to life, and you create and thrive in a get to life.
Yeah, I'm in absent before this conversation. I've heard this conversation before, but really before this conversation, I've never really seen Sorel and Paul that my entire life up until this point, and I'm talking about 25 years, my entire life, uh, 24, I haven't seen how much I wake up in the morning in the world of have to, and I go to sleep because I have to. And everything around it, I'm just seeing it around, I'm seeing it in this conversation. And so Paul very generously, he's saying, the world opens up when you go from got to get to. But my entire world just kind of collapsed just now over here. I'm like, oh my God. And so what's confronting me in a positive way is that what I am looking at, what would my life look like by making that transition on a regular basis?
What would be the benefit to yourself, your teenagers? Operationally, when I deal with couples, I say, listen, from now on, if one of you says, well, we have to get going, the other one goes, have to? We get to get going. We can, as co-workers, as parents, as teenager says, do I have to do my homework? You say, no. And they go, what? Well, if you have to do your homework, it takes longer. You do the minimum amount to fulfill the assignment. You learn less, and your grades are C's and D's. If, however, beloved child, you get to do your homework, you get to it sooner, you get more out of the experience, you learn more, and your grades are more likely to be A's and B's. So in our family, in our corporation, in our enterprise, there is no one who has to be here. And if you're living that kind of life, we can have a short conversation because we want you to get to work and be at work and be productivity and cooperate and communicate. And so anything other than that, we get to have a conversation. Get to, I have to go. Have to? Oh, I get to go. We can, it's easy to swap, but a little support from one to the other. If you're the manager and you have your employees and they're talking have to language, you get to say, well, have to? Get to. That would be operational. One of the things you might do in the workplace. You have, if you think about productivity and performance, you come to work because you have to. Well, 10% of you is on a beach somewhere fishing. Because you're not always all at work. You're 90% or 80% or worse at work. And so productivity and performance are inevitably diminished. So we want to have people 100% present. Now, you don't have to love the coworkers. Nice if you do. You don't have to love your work or your career, but you get to do that which you are paid for. You get to go to work. And it's an opportunity. And you have a child. Children are basic optimists. They I get to get up, get dressed, have my breakfast, and play with my toys and meet with my friends. And somewhere in the first 10 years of their life, we turn them into one of us. We have everything they saw as an opportunity now becomes as an obligation. And then all these years later, here we are.
Well, pause for a second.
Go
Let's
ahead.
hear what Chase wants to say. Good morning, Chase.
Grand Rising, gentlemen. Nice to be here with you. This conversation, I've heard it many times from different people, and I want to chime into what Gio said and just make a small observation. When Gio was speaking, he said, I have a pretty cool life. I get up, I meditate, I do whatever the things he said. The way that you said that was your perspective and your choice of how you said it. You didn't say, I have to meditate in the morning. It's important. I have a cool life, but I have to have a cool life. You didn't say those things like that. So, in my personal opinion, and again, this has been a conversation I've had for years with people, as soon as we change the words that are connected to the actions that we think we have to, then it goes away. Because we're choosing those words. We're saying, I have to. How many times have you been somewhere and someone says something like, I really have to go. My wife is calling me and she's a pain in the neck. I've heard people say that I have to go. And a friend of mine a long time ago said, remember, you don't have to do anything. You do many things, but you don't have to do anything. You choose to do certain things. And how you speak about those things is also your choice. When he said that to me, I was like, ooh, it kind of hit me at first. And then I was like, okay. And then the pushback would be, yeah, but don't we all have to pay our bills? Yeah, we pay our bills. We don't have to. There's a repercussion for not doing it, but putting have to in front of anything, in my personal opinion, it just takes the spark out of it and makes it so much of a obligation that it weighs heavier on us. So I just think it's all about language, and each person that speaks, we are setting ourselves up for the joy of, or to enjoy this, or to not enjoy that. It literally starts with how we see it and our perspective. That's what I really feel.
Without being too philosophical, Martin Heidegger, German philosopher of the last century, is well known for saying language is the house of being. Language is the house of being,
Like that.
by which I meant the words we speak frame our experience of being alive. The words we speak literally are our access to life. Now, you could, live a have to life or a get to life, and just that one swap of vowel offers life. You could live a life given by try. Please don't do that to your children. Or you have a life of intent. Trying has very little relationships to results. I tried. It doesn't lead you anywhere. There's no opening for action. But if we intend to, I intend to, the results, good, bad, or indifferent, belong to me because it was my intent. I didn't try. Try is a cop out. We don't do a very much service to our children when they say, all right, I'll try, Mom, I'll try. And Mom says, all right, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Go sit down, have dinner. We don't want to buy into try. When I coached, one more thing, teachers of the Tucson United School District. And now with this new paradigm, Joey comes up to the teacher and says, Miss Jones, the dog ate my homework. And now Miss Jones says, yes, I hear you. And by when will I see that assignment on my desk? Translated into the world of enterprise, there was a lack of performance on behalf of one of the team, of the employee, of the management. And you could berate them, or you could say, what is your intent? And by when? There's a whole world of integrity conversation we haven't got time for, but we don't accept try. We don't accept lack of performance without saying, well, yes. And by when will we have a new design ready to go?
Yeah, so you've opened up a really big world, as
Next
you
show.
were saying. And Gio, I want to acknowledge and recreate what you were saying, just so you hear it and I really get it. Like I got confronted too, that in this world that Paul's been opening up, that unexamined, when I examine my life, that it has been unexamined, I see have to all over the place. I had to go to college so I could get a good job, or else I had to have children by the age of 25. So I could be able to drink with legally with my sons when they're 25. And I'm not young enough to do that. Like I had to. And I can see the subtle shift. And I can also see the pervasive nature of it all that you were pointing to and how confronting it is, Gio. So thank you for bringing that. And Paul, thank you for opening up that whole world. Gio, go ahead and get the final word. I see you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to ask Paul, and I know we're wrapping up now, but I interrupted Paul earlier, and I apologize. Paul, you were saying something about start with a yes.
Mhm.
What were you pointing to around that?
Well, when we train ourselves to start our sentences with yes, there are at least four gifts. One, we are responding, we're not reacting. Two, we've established a connection with that person we're with. Three, we're listening and they know we hear them, which, by the way, is a gift all by itself because many of us don't believe anyone listens to us. So with these four elements in place, we can
Say
say,
the four elements again. I'm going to write them down.
we're responding, no longer reacting, which is great when the light turns red. You want to stop. Don't think about it. Two, we've established a connection, you and me. Three, I'm listening, and you know I hear you, which is a gift all by itself. And then the next word is and. We get to choose what's next. Get to choose what's next. Up to and including. We haven't got time for this, but when someone gets angry or irritated or annoyed, they say, well, Gio, you're a terrible person. You say, from now on, you say, yes, I hear you, and I'd like to know more. We don't defend ourselves. We don't explain because they're not really listening. So it's kind of a waste. And when you keep on insisting on, yes, I hear you, let me buy you a cup of coffee and we'll talk about it. Yes, I hear you. This is teenagers think about it, right? Yes, I hear you. It's important. I want to know more. I want to know how you got to this point of view. Yes, let's sit down and talk. And if you start your sentence with a yes, you have a good shot at communication. You could say, it's time to discuss the budget. Or you could say, yes, it's time for us to take time to discuss our budget. Which one gets you a conversation? Oh, a sentence that
How do you,
begins with yes.
Paul? How do you go from yes to no? For example, in that example, Paul, it's time to discuss the budget, and you say yes, and I'm not going to do it now.
Yes, and let's pick the best time for us to sit down and discuss this as an opportunity. Or the other side of the and is opportunity, not necessity. And maybe you have a young child that says you didn't do what they want you to do, and they say, Gio, I hate you. And you now say, yes, come over here, sit in my lap, I'm listening. We don't get to react to our children or employees or managements. We want to use language that opens up a realm of possibility.
Yes opens
Yes.
up a realm of possibility, even if I'm going to shift it, though.
Well,
So, Paul, let's go to the movies. Yes, and
yes, and which
maybe
one do you want to go?
or yes, and maybe next year. Since you
Yes,
don't want to go, or Paul, I
yes,
want to have dinner with you on Saturday. Yes, and maybe next year.
yeah, yes,
Or
yes. I'm not sure it works well for me. And I do want to have dinner with you. When is the best time for us to get together?
yes, I'm yes, Paul, and I'm coming from a different angle. I'm saying I don't want to. I want. How do you go from yes to never?
What we're looking at is the nature of your relationship. You know, You see,
I know, Paul. Here's what I'm trying to say. That I am struggling in saying it, and it's too early, and it's Friday. No, it's a powerful word, and people who I'm going to speak for myself. When I learned to say no, my life opened up. I grew. I had a bigger impact. It was powerful, beautiful word. Now I know how to say no, so I don't impact people and they don't get mad at me. But however, I would love to hear from Paul. Well, how do we open up the gift that no is in an opportunity way?
well, just add the word "and" as the next word. Someone
Mm.
says, "No, no, no." You hear no, and with an "and," we are connected. We continue communicating. A no can break us down. A no can create barriers, and it can shut down, create disappointment and frustration. So a no by itself, I don't recommend. A no with an "and," I do. So if you imagine going to Home Depot and you say, "I want a left-handed wrench." The employee at the home says, "Well, we don't have any of those." So your answer is, "And I have a right-handed wrench." Throw an "and." Optimally, we would have very little use for words like no unless our well-being is in danger. Can I play with matches? No.
Can I light the house on
Or
fire?
yes,
No.
and your well-being is in danger, and the house might get on fire. Do you want that?
The next
I
time
love this conversation, Paul. Thank you, Sorrel. Thank you.
I have so much to say. I invite opportunities for me to just continue this narrative. It's just a world given by yeses and ands is distinct from a world given by nos and buts.
Very different. Very
Very
different. Thank
different.
you, Paul.
And, at the risk of, Gio loves to say, at the risk of trying to block the sun with my thumb, I hear the world you're creating like this, Paul, and I'll state it as an opportunity for what's coming next in future conversations with you. You're saying that language gives all of it.
Yeah.
And there's language that shrinks the world, and there's a language that expands the world into possibility.
I have a whole new conversation we haven't got time for, but
We
Yeah.
have to have a seminar series with Paul.
I would-
Let's start a seminar
yes.
series with Paul. Every Friday for the next 5 Fridays, we have 5 sessions with Paul, and then, man, our life will be different.
Yeah.
And your enterprises and your productivity and your performance and the satisfaction and job turnover and job and career satisfaction, it's in language.
For everything, it's in language. I love this conversation. Thank you, Paul. Sorry, Sorrel. I think I interrupted you. I just got so excited because
no.
Paul said he wanted to do this seminar series.
This is what Paul said to me in a conversation. Sorrel, I love to have these conversations.
Such a joy.
And whatever Maria asks me to do, I will do. So in that sense, if you're afraid of asking Paul directly, just go to Maria. Maria, I'm saying that to say thank you for introducing us to Paul. Paul, you are a real gift to humanity. I'm going into my life saying yes and being really free to say no.
And
yeah. And then to say thank you. And if somebody says thank you to me, to say you're welcome, not as rote language, but as a recognition that the transformation I seek for myself and for the organizations and initiatives I lead rest in the language I use. And if I practice using the language that forwards possibility, then possibility comes regardless of me.
by the way, I invite you to say when, not if.
Yeah.
If is to maybe as when is to will be.
There you go. When I use that type of language, people around me transform, I transform, the organization transforms, the initiatives transform.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
When
will you be back?
We have many juicy conversations ahead of us.
You bet. So
I'm going to start a
folks,
seminar series, Paul.
this is
Seminar
your
series,
daily
Paul.
huddle. Gio, I'd love for you to do the eat the trees thing.
Awesome, Sorrel. Paul, thank you for being here. Sorrel, thank you for being here. Maria, Chase, Galaxy S24, and Virtue, thank you all for being here. And those of you who listen to us on YouTube or wherever you are, thank you for plugging in, and thank you for giving some love to the opportunity of this morning and the opportunity of the Daily Huddle. And I want to close this out, sending you with 8 gifts to have a renegade life, live like a renegade. The first one is love. Love always. Love those you have an opinion about. Love those who you have a difference with. Love those who are in your life and those who you're not in your life. Love. Stress less. There's only one life. This is it. Might as well take it easy. Smile more. Stress your cheeks. It helps you be sexy and confident and helps with the wrinkles. Smile. Eat more plant-based. Get closer to the trees. Hug the trees. Eat the trees. Avoid at all costs saying no and to processed food. Move every day. 10 minutes in the morning. 10 minutes right after lunch. Every single day. Move your body a little bit. It will extend your life and you have more opportunities to say yes. And sleep every day. Every day, 7 hours. If you can't sleep, read a book. Don't grab your phone. Don't grab a pill. Just read. You'll see how your body, your mind will say, never mind, I don't want to read. I want to go home. I want to go to bed. Read. Last but not least, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I love you. Have a great weekend. Sorrel loves you more. And Paul will teach you how to love. Bye-bye.